but we have yet another match rolling in our direction. Again, we will see Jordan and Villese going at it 1v1 on Arabia, but this time Jordan will have the higher rating as this game starts. The other day I saw a replay of the live tournament. It was good to see you and Nilly as commentators. Yeah, man, working with, that's a funny word when you're talking about casting. But working with Nilly is a real pleasure, and T90. Working with anybody who's like really able to keep the conversation going and kind of hold up their end of the bargain can be so, so nice. I mean, it takes less than half of the effort if you have a good co-cast. Anyway, for the moment, we will see yet another match between Jordan and Villese. For those of you guys just tuning in, Jordan won the previous game in what I would consider to be a comeback. I don't know. You can be the judge. We will see the blue player roaming around as the Malians this game. Very, very, very strong civ. And he'll be up against Aztecs on the other side for Villese. Blue player's map, Jordan's map, has a little extra resource in the back. Main gold on the front. It's obscured by this wood line, which is kind of ugly and annoying. And there's also this weird tiny hill, which is also annoying. Woodline on the front is fine. Woodline on the back is okay. It's not the worst base you've ever seen, but it feels a little bit lumpy. She's lump, she's lump, she's lump. On the other side, we'll see Villese with some back gold. Nice woodline to the side. I like the looks of this for the early game. The berries on the front are a little bit exposed and a little bit awkward, especially versus a Malian's opponent, but all things considered, I like this a little bit more. I certainly like having an area that's easy to defend. Just a tiny bit of walling. Oh my gosh, can you imagine just walling that corridor? If you scout really well, it's like you have this whole quadrant of the map walled off. Red player will push in some deer. We've seen that in the past few team games Villese has been playing, actually giving up right as we say that. 4 vills out on wood. Aztecs player will have, oh, I thought that vill was going to kill a sheep. Oh man, I was so worried for him. The red player will have enough wood to drop an early barracks if he wants to. Maybe go man-at-arms or something like that. 3 vills on wood for Jordan. Malian's player is starting to scout around the corner of his map. A little scout idle time, but, you know, it's not that big of a deal. A couple seconds lost. Let's see, Villese coming forward with the eagle. Not quite in time to try to poach that boar. Probably wouldn't have tried anyway, but just in case you're keeping track at home. Ornlu. Killer B, you thought that game was a Jordan comeback? I spent the entire time saying Villese had no chance because of the Civ matchup. The Civ matchup was bad, but Jordan's early game investments just felt like they didn't pay off. I thought Villese was going to be in a decent position. I thought it was going to be decent. But I was wrong. I was wrong. Sheep kill on that corner is a little awkward, but Jordan continues to scout around his map and get things going. I'm a little interested in where his scout is. Okay, it's a sheep on that corner. The scout is actually now circling toward the TC of Villese. Villese, or Villese if you're Milmano. Where is Milmano? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? We'll see Jordan kind of swooping in from the side. He will find Villese here in a moment. And get things going. Villese has already circled the TC, which is pretty common with an Eagle Scout. It's a little bit easier to micro. This boar is, yeah, he's just in an awkward position. I thought he was going back. Malian is a great civ, so even with a bad map, he has a chance. I think the maps here are just fine for both sides. I wouldn't say either player is really working with a major handicap, my humble opinion. And we got a subscriber. Dr. Slow, thank you for the sub, my friend. Appreciate that very much. Welcome, welcome to the, I don't know, the VIP private room, the sub room. Thank you, my friend. Good to have you with us for so long. It's been over a year, I think, since Dr. Slow's been hanging around here. Probably well over a year at this point. We will see a couple more deer being pushed in from the red player. After circling around the TC, he will go home and push a few deer. Jordan is still roaming around with his scout. I don't know how much he's discovered. He has found the berries there on the front, and he's found that nice back area that I was talking about earlier in the game, and he's actually going to double dip. He's going to go back in and find a little bit more out about that location. So Jordan getting some really nice scouting info. He found kind of the weakest part of his opponent's map, and he found what I think could be the strongest part. And maybe he can try to find a way to crack that nut. Barracks is coming down for Jordan while he goes to Loom. 21 villagers at the moment for the Malians player, who's going to click up 1 second before his opponent. Both guys clicking up and potentially going to be able to go men-at-arms with that early barracks. Villese has 1 vill out on gold already. Jordan is sending 2 villagers out. Villese is, for now, creating a couple militia. We'll see if a second villager comes over. We do see a mining camp coming down. Aztecs player saving a little bit of gold from not having to pay for loom, I would suppose. So maybe that could be the difference maker. Only needs 1 vill on gold. Makes sense. Let's see. Malians player on the way up. Both guys at 759, which is nearly pitching a perfect game with 21 villagers. Gotta give some props for that. Blue player is kind of slowly working his way toward walling in his own side, and he'll eventually have some men-at-arms on the map. So, early game, no surprises until right now. Kind of a surprise to me. Villese coming forward with 4 villagers. The militia will soon be men-at-arms. 1 vill going over to the mining camp, and we will see some towers. Just 1 villager on gold, so don't expect eagles in this particular case from Villese. I would not think that that would be a very viable option, but we'll keep an eye on it. 1 wolf aiding Jordan's cause. Jordan adding in an extra militia here in the early game, and we will see a couple of villagers coming along with this. Jordan trying to keep an eye on this army, and nice wall there from Villese. Really needed to separate that army from his villagers. He was in an ugly position. Villese will now go back for a moment with that military. He'll try to get his first tower down. Men-at-arms upgrade is on the way for both guys, but Villese is massively outnumbered. Villese might as well cancel the men-at-arms upgrade at this point, and did. You really can't justify spending so much resource on something when you have just 2 units left, 1.5 units. Jordan gets 1 vill in, which you might think is bad for him because that vill's going to die, but it will slow this tower down a bit and give Jordan a little time to get his own counter tower up. Villese's tower is up. It's on that main gold and main wood line for Jordan, so he's making his opponent uncomfortable. J-Man moving to that back wood line for now, and is going to just take this gold on the corner where he can do so safely. In the meantime, Jordan is coming forward to try to damage Villese. Villese adding in an archery range back at home. Still just, well, now 2 villagers on gold, so keep an eye. Could be enough for 1 range production here if he puts a few more vills over there. For now, it is quick walling toward the TC, and Jordan's men-at-arms are, for the moment, walled out. It's a little bit of a repeat of last game, men-at-arms rolling toward this eco, but I think Jordan's had a little bit more success already. Already pushed 1 villager off a stone, and he already basically cleaned up his opponent's militia. So Jordan he's gotten his money's worth, I think, out of those men-at-arms already. Nearly, anyway. Let's see, we have Dr. Slow, Goldstones, dropping the old Killer 7. Wow, Aztecs Tower Rush with men-at-arms, says Bombay. Yeah, that was, I think, the plan, but unfortunately, the militia are dead, and the men-at-arms upgrade was canceled, and now it's going to be a transition into archers. I think Villese here is probably doing the smart thing. He's going to get a couple towers down and be as sneaky and annoying as he can, but he's out of stone, and his stone production is nowhere near fast enough to keep 4 villagers towering on the front. So, as we talked about in the beginning, the weakest part of Villese's map, this berry patch, does get taken away by Jordan. Jordan losing the scout to the TC, trying to grab 1 more villager on its way home after a long day's work. Jordan will roam around the far side of the map and see if he can get in. Villese is walling in the opposite side, and the archers are starting to multiply. As long as Villese can maybe get a quick palisade down here and maybe a house down here, I think there'll be enough time. 4 or 5 archers should be okay for this. A lot of these men-at-arms on low HP. And we'll see, they'll come out with 1 villager as a meat shield on the front, and Jordan's men-at-arms will go back. In the meantime, Villese's second tower is up, but the first tower is down, so Jordan is probably not so uncomfortable on this side. Villese towering a wood line here that's already taken away, but he also takes away this extra gold pile. For now, Jordan does have 1 safe gold, and it is his main gold, so life is not so bad. 3 villagers are currently on that gold pile, as Jordan finds a way to earn a villager. Got to give some props to the J-Man there. I did not think he had it in him. With a weakened group, an attenuated group of men-at-arms, I thought he was in a whole lot of trouble, but he'll earn 1 villager out of that exchange. In the end, Fletching just coming in for the red player with that aggressive forward blacksmith, and he will He'll clean up his side. Villese has not had the greatest start here, but I think it's still anybody's game to win in the long run. I don't think Villese got a lot for his investment here on the front, but he got something done. Jordan has probably been a little more effective, but the villager counts are equal, and the scores are pretty much equal as well. Let's see. Do you think Jordan is getting good again? Yeah, absolutely. I think Jordan is obviously... He's obviously still not the very best player in the game like he was in the past, arguably. But he's certainly getting better. Certainly getting stronger by the moment. I mean, he's nearly at 2,400, and that's really a legitimate number. I mean, it's not as though he had some leftover rating points from back in his heyday. Like, he's regularly playing high-level matches, extremely high-level. Villese will get in with those archers and do a little damage. Jordan with double ranges of his own and more villagers moving over to the gold pile. So we will see quite a few archers from Jordan. Out of double ranges, Villese back at home is still on the 1 range for now. Not sure who that benefits more. Jordan will have an army to deal with Villese, but Villese will have maybe a little more resource to work with in the mid-game. Jordan at the moment with not much in the bank does have enough gold and wood to keep things going. Villese has a little bit of food in the bank. Jordan's going to leave that army of his opponent inside of his eco and send his archers forward. It's going to be a lot of idle time and a lot of annoyance, but a couple skirms coming over, and I think this is probably the best approach. It's always satisfying to kill an army like this, but, you know, crushing an army of 4 archers with units that could be out on the offensive seems weird. So we'll see Jordan moving across the map, trying to do some damage. Villese has not quite gotten to the point where he could chop through this tree, so I think it's going to be okay. That wood line is not going to let these archers in, but it's certainly going to go idle. Villese is still on 1 wood line on that side, and the berries are chewed through. He's got to realize that as well. So far, I would say Villese's eco here is a little bit less good than Jordan's, but a little raiding from the red player, trying to get in and do damage. Jordan coming back with a counterattack to try to take a little villager gather time away as well. And we will see. Mine that gold by the tower. Yeah, absolutely. You totally could. You could try to mine that for sure. Yesterday, he got horse collar at 45 minutes. Oh, my God. Well, you know, it happens. Villagers starting to drop for the red player, but he will pop out a couple archers here in defense, having to drop a defensive tower on this wood line, which is not ideal. These 2 farms incredibly exposed, so Villese does stand to lose more here in this exchange. Jordan is going to, well, he's going to have a couple wolves on his team to finish off those archers. For now, Jordan's going to be the second one up to Castle Age. Villese on 1 range, not so shockingly, has a little more resource to work with. But Jordan's kind of twisting the knife a little bit here. He's done some damage to the economy of the red player, and maybe he can do a little more. There's still a few skirmishers coming out for red. He does need to basically, I think, go into full skirm production for now, just to hold his line defensively. But if he can hold out for a little bit longer, I think Villese here could turn this one around. Then again, we said that last game. Is this Phil going to die? No. We said that last game. Villese was up early to castle. This game's a lot different. Villese is going to be up earlier, but Jordan is in a nice spot. He's coming once again with a feudal army. For now, it's just a single Eagle Scout out for the red player and some defensive skirms. Lots of this economy is bothered, so I like Jordan's spot. Castle Age is still slowly creeping in. Jordan will grab wheelbarrow. He'll click up here in a moment, and he will force his opponent to drop another defensive tower. Those towers on the front for the red player keep going up, and they keep falling down. And we will get our wish granted, Colizome. We will see a mining camp on that gold. Craves wanted the woo-woo-woo. We almost got a woo. Well, we got a couple archers killed by wolves, I believe, on this side. I didn't stay to watch it because, I don't know, we got better things to do sometimes. But I'm pretty sure those archers did end up dying to wolves on the corner. So I hope that satisfies your bloodlust. Dude, you're trying to get Killer Bee banned? I'll give a shout out to my brother Nick. He's going through a hard time. Slam chair sucks. Your brother Nick. Nick. With an interesting last name. Huh. Interesting. I love The Simpsons, how they used to do that. They would call up and mess with people. Anyway, we will see the blue player with 25 military. Jordan on the way to Castle Age. Eagle Warrior upgrade coming for his opponent. Jordan can probably see the writing on the wall. He saw a couple of fresh new eagles coming out, so he probably has a pretty good idea of what's going down. Second barracks is coming for the red player. Jordan is going back. He's going to hide in the fog of war if he can with this group of archers and try to preserve them to the Castle Age to go crossbow. Eagle Warriors obviously not so well countered by crossbows, but Jordan on the way to castle looking for a castle to go along with that Castle Age upgrade, and we will see where he goes from there. One would think, since the production at the moment is archers and he is aggressively mining stone, that Jordan could decide to drop a castle somewhat early on. For now, trying to defend himself with a couple of archers. The eagle number is still very low, so the red player is not quite going to get any damage in at the moment. Tower still stands, so I guess you can give a point for annoyance. And, you know, Jordan still just with a single gold pile there on the front. So there is still a possibility that Jordan could take more damage. Let's see. Yeah, I got what you meant. You do make a point. Gbeto should kill eagles. The Gbeto. We will see what Jordan decides to do. Thank you for the follow. Kazan Chess, welcome. Been watching so much YouTube chess videos lately. Jordan at the moment losing a lot of his archers, was not able to effectively hide them, and now the eagle number continues to produce, and he's in a little bit of hot water. I don't think he really wants to open this gate, but it looks like he's going to do so and let those eagles in for a moment. Crossbowmen and Bodkin Arrow will turn the tide of this fight. There's not enough eagles quite there yet, but Jordan he's feeling a tiny bit of pressure. Defensive Siege Workshop coming for him. Interesting decision. He wants to get this tower down. But of course, it's not the best way to deal with eagles. We will see 414 stone in the bank for Jordan as he continues to mine away with, well, not the most effective mining. You know, a lot of these villas are on the backside of the pile. But he'll get the castle up eventually. Villese is going back. That production of eagles has been pretty legit. It's still 1 TC Eagle Warriors, 2 barracks, and a Siege Workshop coming down for red to try to defend against this group of crossbows. Jordan is microing and putting down damage. These eagles for now do have +2 defense, but they will eventually die if you hit them with enough arrows. Siege Workshop would have been really nice for Villese, but the quick walls are a really nice touch as his eagles continue to surround this group, and those crossbows continue to go further and further on their death march at the moment. Crossbows are getting in good damage. Jordan's doing the best that he can at the moment. He's probably starting to clean up that tower back at home, or he's probably thinking about doing that soon. But it is going to be finito for that army here eventually. Let's see. Great chess tutorials with interesting games. He looks like Doubt. I actually don't know this person. Meta Yelik. I don't know that person yet, but I'll check it out. Who have I been watching? I've been watching Agamador, I think the guy's name is. Something like that. I don't know. I should keep better track. But defensive castle coming for Jordan. So he will knock down that tower with a castle, and he will try to win back the front of his eco here. Try to solidify it by getting a castle down. Villese, in the meantime, is on 49 vills. Jordan is on 52. Pretty equal numbers on the economy. But Jordan has an extra TC in the back corner and a 3rd TC on the way. So it's a castle drop and 2 TCs for Jordan. There will be a lull in his production for a moment as these crossbows continue to viciously maraud the back of this economy. I thought that eagle, or rather that big group of eagles would convince Jordan to hide his crossbows. But he's still out here kind of honeypotting his opponent. If he can keep those eagles busy for a bit longer, get his castle down, I think Jordan's going to be in a much better position. If I'm him, I don't want eagles near my economy for the next 5 minutes. There's going to be a 5-minute lull or so in Jordan's production. As he just gets his castle down, the Gbetos will slowly start rolling out. But he's got to focus on keeping 3 TCs going on villagers. Let's see, they should have the same kind of bonus versus eagles as hand cannons and slingers do. Hey, Mango. Mango's here. Yo, welcome. Good to see you. Bosch is here as well. Not if it's 1 castle versus 3 barracks. Yeah, it's true. The production from 1 castle will not quite keep up with the 3 barracks. I hear you. For the moment, the tower is down and the villagers are finally dead from Villese, and Jordan kind of catapults into the villager lead by 15, killed 4 vills, and has 3 TCs going. Villese is going to start to make a push, and this is kind of what we were talking about. There's a lull for Jordan right now. He doesn't really have the army to fight against this. Eagles and mangoes on a slight hill is kind of a scary proposition, I would think. Villese has a second TC down as well, and the red player is going to make a push on the front, and time will show if it's going to be fast enough. Time will tell if it's going to be fast enough. Jordan needs a minute longer to get his boom turned around, but he will get a siege workshop in defense, continuing to produce Gbetos as fast as he can out of 1 barracks. The crossbows for now are no longer being produced, but he did go +2/+2. Kind of an interesting side note that he went with +2 defense on the crossbows. Jordan will actually sneak those out and head back toward his opponent's side of the map, so keep that in mind. If you can't fight an army head-on, then, well, you might as well sneak out, I guess, and Jordan's going to give it a shot. Gbeto number continues to increase. They do have +1 defense at the moment. Jordan will get squires so that those units can micro around a little bit. But Villese is coming. He's going to be hot and heavy here. University coming down, Mangonel coming for Mr. Jordan back at home. And that group of crossbows, for those of you guys keeping track, are slowly working their way across the map. There's 13 crossbows that are slowly but surely working toward the other side. Why do players always go for the defense upgrade first with Gbeto? They have range and they die super fast anyway. Hey, Faults, good to see you. I don't know. Could have to do with trying to tank a little damage from Mangonel, but yeah, 30 HP, +1 damage is not so great. How are Malian Expos versus Aztec Expos? Well, I don't think that's going to be super relevant in this particular game, but I think they're pretty similar. Am I missing something with upgrades? We can check in on that in a moment. But what we need to focus on for the moment is those eagles look like they were pushing in. Jordan's crossbows are going to be effective versus villagers, I can tell you that. They'll be here in time to deny Villese's 4th TC and grab down several villies. It will be an 18 villager advantage for Jordan, and sneaking that army now looks like a brilliant move. But, brilliant as it may be, Jordan is still going to have to play his ass off to defend this economy. A couple Gbetos going in, seeing if they can Jebait a little bit of Mangonel fire. Mangonel fire from the blue player coming in. He goes 2 for 1 immediately, and now he will get the 3rd Mangonel as well. So an incredibly good Mangonel trade there for Jordan. And I think that what I said is correct. He sent in those Gbetos first to try to see if he could draw a couple of Mangonel shots. The Mangos were shooting in the wrong place, and Jordan goes 3 for 1. And all of a sudden, Villese's push looks so much less scary. In the meantime, the reinforcing eagles that would be coming forward from Villese are now having to go back to deal with Jordan's crossbows. So Jordan continues to honeypot that army. Not only did he kill a half-dozen vills, he's going to keep the reinforcing eagles away, and I think that all of those things equal a really nice position for Jordan all of a sudden. Jordan displaying some of those Michael Jordan skills of old. Yeah, Jordan is looking really good. That particular exchange was very nice, the 3 for 1 mango trade. Actually, I think it was 3 for 0 if you count what the Mangonels killed. But, you know, in the end, sneaking out those crossbows was a beautiful play as well. Jordan looking good, looking like he's feeling and sensing the game really well. Maybe he's listening to the cast. I would never accuse him of that, but this is like perfectly predicting what his opponent is doing. Second castle coming down for the J-Man, and he continues to roll out Gbetos. He does need to take over a little bit of gold for the later part of the game, but he's still respecting this eagle push. This castle is much more defensive than maybe I expected, but the Castle Age push is real. There are 2 more mangoes on the way. There's more eagles coming for red. Villese has got Monastery, Siege Workshop, and I believe 3 barracks pumping out eagles. And all of those units are headed straight to the front lines because the clock is really ticking. Tower will drop. Jordan will have his gold under pressure. His Gbeto numbers will continue to slowly come out, or a little more quickly now that he's got 2 castles. Imperial Age on the way. Jordan's got an extra gold pile on the back of the map, so don't fret. He can survive a little bit of idle time on this front gold. We shall find out how this goes. Jordan running out of gold, says Mr. Duck. Yeah, he's not in the greatest position considering he's on the way to Imp with just 1 gold pile under his possession. But if he times it right, I feel like Jordan can push out, grab this gold while pushing back against his opponent. Villese here is on the way with a bunch of villagers to the front, and he's thinking about a castle drop. Needs to buy a little stone, I suppose, because he's not quite ready to drop that castle. Villese is going to be really sad if he starts building that castle, and he does. Oh, that's not going to be a great moment for him. That castle's going to be about 50% done when Jordan hits Imp, and it's going to be really close to Jordan's Trebs, which will soon be rolling out. This is going to be a tricky spot, but we will see Villese dive in. At least he will have the opportunity to raid the bejesus out of this eco. 21 military for Jordan, so there's a lot of Gbetos, but they need to work their way over here. Elite Gbeto is on the way. Squires is already in, so these units can come back and deal with the Eagles pretty quickly, but for now, yeah, they will start working their way over. Barracks coming in defense for Jordan. Villese's castle is going to be up. Jordan is going to see it. And that's really not so great for Villese because Jordan can go ahead and treb that down if he wants to try. In the meantime, Jordan coming from both corners. He will knock down these couple of mangonels. No big damage put down on his Gbetos. Gbetos continuing to chase these eagles out of dodge. And Jordan will emerge from this fight equal with Villese on the villager count. Villese going ballistics, padded archer armor, and crossbow. So we will actually see some Aztec crossbows, which we were talking about. Scarface was talking about a little bit earlier in the game. We'll see triple ranges, and we'll see Villese kind of doubling down on this center part of the map. Wants to control that center. I think that castle is probably not long for this world, but Villese is going to give it the old college try to see if he can keep it up. Jordan's third castle comes out to take over this front goal, which seems like a really great tactical decision, and the Trebs start to roll out to put pressure on this castle. So it's going to be a really awkward couple of minutes for Villese, but if he can survive it, maybe he can claw his way into a nice position. Jordan with a nice score lead. I think he's in a nice spot. Don't know how much raiding he's going to get in with Gbetos, but at least for the moment, Villese is trying to make a tech switch into crossbows, soon to be arbs, and Jordan's the one who's got an army that isn't being switched. He's got a strong army that's starting to really, I don't know, gain a little momentum. Two Trebs on the front still putting down damage. It would be so nice to have a couple Gbetos here to defend this. Jordan's going to get caught a little wrong-footed. He will get out a long swordsman, a little bit of quick walling, but he could lose all of these Trebs for the cost of a couple of eagles. That didn't go so great, but yeah. I don't know, Jordan's Gbetos in a weird position, and now the crossbows from Villese are getting a good fight. And man, this is there's a ray of hope in the future for Villese. That was a good, maybe 1 minute of gameplay for Villese. Kills 3 Trebs, basically for free. Well, for a couple of eagles, but not for so much. Castle on the front had to stay up, and it does. And Jaguar warriors start to come out to counter potential infantry if Jordan continues to go down the longsword route. The Gbetos from Jordan, well, they didn't do so much. And all of a sudden, we've got a game where still a 1.5k score lead, still a nice, safe, snuggly position for Jordan. But Villese certainly has some win conditions here. Aztecs in the late game, why not? Why not? Let's see, Holy Roman Viking, you should switch to Arbalest instead of Eagles. Killer Bee says it 1 second before me. The Viking and I are on the same page. For Rimba time would be cool. Hey, Giant Frog, this is game number 2. Game number 1 was won by Jordan, so it is 1-0 at the moment. Sorry for not having a score command. I gotta get on my game, man. I can't find any time lately to do anything other than cast 2 days a week for a couple hours. I gotta find a way to find some time to, you know, upgrade this channel a little bit. Anyway, this castle is under pressure again, and Jordan needs to find a way to get it down. Arbalests are, yeah, they're pretty well upgraded at the moment, and Villese is starting to roll forward with those. That is going to counter two-handed swordsmen quite nicely. Two-handed swords will soon be champions. Jordan is kind of pot committed, does win the Treb War for the moment, and does still have Gbetos sniping down villagers in the back of Villese's eco. Lots of Gbetos going down, but Jordan will get in here and raid and see if he can knock his opponent down below 110 vills. But it's, you know, Villese's push here looks okay. The castle is still up. Needs to keep that castle up. As long as he does, he has a chance. If we look at relics at this point, Jordan has none. Villese has 2. Jordan's got the 3 castles, and if we look at the villagers who are still mining gold, always a good metric for me. 15 on gold, 12 on stone for Villese. Jordan has 16 on gold and nobody on stone. So both players still with good gold economies. Villese will be able to add in some more castles, and we will see some barracks to go along with these arbalests. It should be a nice, diverse army for the red player. It will be champions for Jordan for now, and those champions acting as a nice meat shield for his trebs. And oh no, Villese's castle goes down. Villese will lose his castle and his trebs, and although arbalests are getting somewhat efficient trades here, they're kind of starting to get swamped out by these champions rolling forward from Jordan. Jordan able to win the Treb War on this corner and then able to win down the castle, and now Villese's position looks really precarious. These ranges on the front and all of these barracks are not protected at all, and just a couple of Trebs or Rams or whatever you have to work with, even just some arson champions can really take this down quickly, and it could go really, really south. Cam Carls. Let's see. Let's do the Farimba. Sounds like a nice dance. What's the red player up to? Well, he's going long swords at the moment as well, trying to go as deep into those as he can, as quickly as he can. Jordan on 36 military, still pumping out champions, but he's only got about 5 barracks, so in theory, Villese could catch up, but Villese will lose a barracks now, will lose a second barracks at the same exact moment, and the production is going to be in a whole lot of trouble. And granted, these are two-handed swordsmen, and they're up against champions. So it's a little bit of a tricky spot. Villese is really starting to fall further and further behind in this game. Jordan's trebs on the front are doing grown man work, I would say. I don't know if that's sexist to say, but you know what I'm trying to say. Villese will get a castle up on the hill, trying to get more barracks down on the corner, trying to rebuild a military, I should say. 120 vills for Villese, a little bit of resource in the bank, can certainly pump out quite a few champions for that amount of money. But the champion upgrade is still coming, and Jordan is still coming hot and heavy. And Villese will give the GG, and Jordan will win the second game here in a row. Jordan versus Villese, 2,300 plus players, and we've got 2 wins in a row for the J-Man. And that last one looked quite decisive for quite a while. So you got to give some props to Jordan 23, and it's kind of right on the spot because someone was asking during that game if Jordan is back up to his level. He's certainly looking like he's on a high level today. Taking a couple games from Villese there, and hopefully, well, for his